Hello and welcome to another CPL cast. This is Nightcat. I will be your host for today. Now it looks like this cast didn't quite make it to the announcements, so if you could please, if you're in the chat and you know anybody who is on the teams that will be playing today, and probably also in the tier that will be playing today, you could try and spread the word to let them know that their games are going to be cast. So today we do have Week 2 Tier 3 action coming at you. We've got Attitude Plus versus the Beach Buddies of StarCraft. So we're going to have... I'm not exactly sure of the races each player is. Some of them I do recognize as being Protoss players, so we do have a fair bit of Protoss. Thunder Dragon and Azrael, if I'm remembering correctly, are Terran, so we'll have a TVT as well today. So plenty of action coming at you. Should be pretty exciting, I think. Let me just double check that the microphone is coming across, and it is very, very good. So the map order for Week 2 is Eclipse for the first game, Fighting Spirit for the second game, and Ascension for the third game if it is needed, as these are best of 3. So let's go ahead and get into our first match, which is going to be Captain Catalina versus Icebox 987. And again, I hit enter instead of thinking that would start the replay, and it did not. Right, so for game 1, we have spawning at the top right in the green Protoss, Captain Catalina, going up against the brown Terran, Icebox 987, which I will probably just call Icebox for this cast. So we've got a little TVP on Eclipse here, or PVT, depending on the perspective you want to take a look at on it. Not really a whole lot of cheese that Terran could potentially throw, but there are a few things if they decide to not play standard that they could potentially do. Protoss has a few things that they can throw at the Terran early as well. Sort of mess with them, especially things like manor pylons, stealing the gas, and all kinds of fun things that Protoss players like to do sometimes. So here we're just seeing in-base pylon. It looks like we're, with this supply depot placement, looks like we're going to get a wall here at the ramp from the Terran. So probably, oh, not probably, but I'm thinking maybe a siege expand coming out of Icebox. Captain Catalina, meanwhile, the pylon is done. And no gateway or anything yet, so maybe we're going to see like a fast nexus come out here. We'll be keeping an eye on that. The barracks is started, and it looks like the probe is heading down to the natural now, so... Yep, and there... The 400 minerals is the fast expansion, the nexus being thrown down here. That being a 12 nexus seems to me like it might be a little bit risky, but with the build that Icebox is going with, I don't think it's going to be too much of a risk, unless this ends up being like a 2 factory behind this wall. Then that could potentially be an issue for Captain Catalina, but the scouts go ahead and pass each other. Captain Catalina, and Icebox rather, they'll both get all of the info that's going on, I think, although the wall does get completed, so Captain Catalina's scout not quite able to get in. Meanwhile, Icebox's scout is able to see what's going on, sees the gateway is not finished, saw that the nexus is almost, that's like 3/4 done, that's almost done. So, has to know that nexus was pretty fast. Does throw down 1 factory, took people off of gas though, so looks like this will not be like a 2 factory. Looks like this is probably going to be some sort of expansion from the Terran player. Now setting up here at the choke Gonna go ahead and poke back in, maybe. Nope. Okay, we're just sitting at the natural here. Just checking to see probably when the first unit comes out of the main. The core is started now for Captain Catalina. Oh, okay, we do have the scout gun back in to sort of check out what's going on in the main here. Captain Catalina floating a bit of minerals here in the early game. And doesn't have any gas, so the core is going to finish, but Captain Catalina can't get a Dragoon or range. Is going to go ahead and get a Zealot, though, so we'll be able to chase this SCV off if they so choose. Icebox going ahead and just pulling that SCV. Like that they're sitting it out here in front of the natural, so that way they can see whenever Catalina comes out with any units. They can keep an eye on that. So they did get some Marines here, producing quite a few Marines, so maybe instead of an early expansion, this is going to be some type of push, but it seems unusual that they would have taken workers off of gas for that. As they're not researching siege mode out of the machine shop. They do have the gas for another tank, which they go ahead and start. So yeah, this looks like this is going to be a push off of one factory, I think, and perhaps an expansion behind that push, which I do like that move, given what Icebox is seeing from Captain Catalina. I think it has a very good chance to be successful here. Getting spider mines behind this. So probably after getting 2 to 3 tanks, we'll see vulture production start to go ahead and back up this push. Accidentally attacking the factory a little bit there. And yep, now here comes the push with a few SCVs behind it as well for repairs. But a little bit of pathing issue there. The army getting broken up a little bit here. But there's nothing out on the map really right now for Captain Catalina, so shouldn't be too much of an issue as long as they don't just move straight into the natural, at the very least. Mines are almost complete. We do have the natural now going down for Icebox, but the second factory is being started. And there's the vulture reinforcement production that I was looking for. Captain Catalina behind this, meanwhile, did put some probes back on gas, is getting a lot of gateways in quite an interesting formation here. I mean, usually you arc units, you don't necessarily arc your buildings, but I don't think anything is going to get trapped with this, so it should be all right. Is getting the Citadel and the robotics facility, so perhaps just getting that Citadel 4 legs, but here comes the push from Icebox. Pretty much walking into the natural of Captain Catalina uncontested here. And go ahead and take this out. This SCV going ahead and scouting there. With the probes gone, going ahead and marching into the main now. Gonna try and push up this ramp with these Marines kind of blocking the path of everybody else. But there's not a lot of Dragoons here, so I don't think it's going to be all that big of a deal. Yeah, now they get up top of the ramp. Going ahead and throwing down a bunker at the natural, but is there still Marine production? I'm not sure. So if these 4 Marines get lost, the bunker's not going to do too much. Having to fall back now as more Dragoons are popping out of the gateways. Trying to fall back to this bunker. Needs to get these Marines in there. At least one of them did, so that will help. Now laying down some mines, sieging the tanks, needs to get some repair in. That's one of the reasons you bring the SCVs along, is to keep those tanks alive. And now trying to come down, ooh, in the mine. Getting a nice hit there, taking out one of the Dragoons, damaging the other. Allowing the tanks here and this bunker, but I am worried about the health of these tanks. This natural, though, probably going to lose that Nexus just with the timing of the Dragoons, unless they can get down there in time. Now we do have repair going on, at least the forward tank, so that is good to see for the Terran player. Now there is a round of Dragoons finished. Looks like only one of the gateways is rallied toward the natural. Icebox laying down some more mines. Behind this, Icebox looks like has got their natural set up. The Catalina trying to push down into this here again, but I don't know if they really have the force to take this out. Almost able to pick off. Okay, they do pick off one tank. Trying to take out this bunker here, but the micro there for Captain Catalina just a little off. You know, some concentrated fire on the tank there, but I wasn't sure if they were trying to concentrate the bunker or not. Ooh, nice shot from the siege tank and that mine combined to take out that Dragoon. And now we've got the vultures in the main, putting mines near the worker line. That's never a good thing. But this, the Sim City getting a little bit in the way here of the Dragoons, trying to take out this vulture, able to get some kills, up to 4 kills there. So very nice play there by Icebox. And now the turrets are being thrown down around the bunker to try and keep any sort of Reaver play, which is Reaver or shuttles to drop Zealots on top of the tanks, which is probably what you would need to break out of this at this point. Captain Catalina does have the robotics facility, could try to get shuttles, but ooh, trying to drag the mine there does get one of the vultures with the splash damage, but not going to be enough to really clear this with these small Dragoon forces. Captain Catalina really needs to get a larger army in order to try and break through this. Meanwhile, back at home, Icebox does have the engineering bay. Obviously, we saw them build a couple of turrets. Only 2 SCVs on gas in the main and 1 in the natural. Now with 3 on the natural, but still just 2 in the main. Is throwing down their 3rd factory, so they're macroing very nicely. And here we have another attempt, maybe by Captain Catalina, or maybe that was just like a rally point. The Dragoon's getting a little too close there and losing 1. Captain Catalina being quick on the repair there for that tank and just sort of holding this contain. What is... Captain Catalina's just throwing down some more pylons for supply. Using that Nexus really hurt there. Hurt there. Excuse me. Oh, very nice with the mines again. Helping to take down 2, 3, 4, 5 goons there about. And Icebox's contain here is just looking very strong. Very nicely spaced out tanks. Now this Vulture going ahead, tossing its last mine in the main, right around where the Dragoons are going to go. Going ahead and try and get some more probe kills. The probe numbers for Captain Catalina very low. Only 15 to Icebox's 33. Captain Catalina trying to do what they can here to stay alive, and I like this move as well by Icebox going ahead and dropping some mines over at what would be the Protoss's 3rd base, just to make sure that nothing sneaky goes on. If any shuttles try to come out the main that way or anything, whether it be to try and expand or to try and do some sort of counterattack with a shuttle drop on Icebox, they should have vision of it and be able to see that. A marine production is going on again, just for a few, probably to help fill out the bunker a little bit here. Armory coming down so that they can go ahead and get their upgrades, and they're also starting a small turret ring back home as well, doing all the things they need to do to make sure that there's no surprises that go ahead and break them. It looks like I don't think Captain Catalina has got leg speed, so unfortunately it looks like that Citadel's not really doing much for them at the moment, but you know, having your natural taken away from you like that, probably gonna throw things off for a bit for you on your game plan. Now Icebox floating the engineering bay over here, probably gonna try and use it to get some vision on the high ground, to be able to get some additional shots off on Catalina's army before Captain Catalina's army is able to come down. Looks like Captain Catalina is going to try and do a move though, but not quite everything moving. And then, okay, the mine did get caught there. Trying to break this. This mine is a little bit of a dangerous one. If that could be pulled into tanks, it could be a problem for Icebox, but the unit's just sort of trickling out here for Captain Catalina, not really able to break this siege line. We've got 7 tanks here. I like them mixing in. Oh, the Zealots in there. Captain Catalina's going to go ahead and give the GG, knowing that they can't quite break out of this contain. And so Icebox will be going up 1-0 in the match. So our match 2 is going to be on Fighting Spirit here. Go ahead and get that load up. And again, I hit enter. I'll learn eventually that doesn't actually start the replays. All right, and so game 2 sees Captain Catalina spawning as the green Protoss up in the top right of Fighting Spirit, and Icebox spawning as the, I think that's magenta, or that might be pink. No, I think that's magenta. The magenta Terran down in the bottom right. So we've got closer spawns, not far cross spawns on this map. I'm wondering if we'll see a similar build for Captain Catalina. Fighting Spirit can be kind of interesting. So we saw Terran wall in the last game, and some of the start positions can be a little tricky to get the wall right if you're going to do it up over top of the ramp. So kind of watching to see if we see another wall attempt from Icebox here, and it looks like with that SCV moving, it looks like we are going to see that. I think this bottom right position is easier to do a wall. Yeah, because you can get the supply depots on the right side of the barracks, which will make Zealot tight, and their Marines will pop out in your base, so you don't have to worry about trying to get them back inside. Captain Catalina doing a scout here after the pylon, so going to go ahead and do a cross scout, which does give it vision of the middle in case there was any sort of proxy play going to happen. But it looks like Icebox is just going to keep with what worked for game 1. Go ahead and wall in, and then probably open with like a 1 or 2 factory play. Maybe based on what they see with scouting, if they see the same thing from Captain Catalina or not. So Captain Catalina is changing it up a bit here, is getting the gateway, I believe, before the Nexus. Yep, and not even getting the Nexus. So Captain Catalina opening up 2 gate here. So good to see Captain Catalina mixing it up here. As I'm saying the name more and more, I'm like, CAPT period. I'm hoping that is supposed to be short for Captain and not just like capped. I'm just saying their name wrong this whole time. That would be very, very unfortunate if that were the case. Here, Icebox's scout is going up to the top right. Going to go ahead and find their opponent here. And does see the 2 gate here. Sees the cyber core going down before gas is going down. Which is pretty interesting because you're not going to be able to do anything until you get that gas going. The first zealot is out. I'm going to go ahead and try and chase down this SCV. But I don't think... So Captain Catalina did find Icebox here. Does see that there is this wall that zealots are not going to be able to get through. You can harass the wall a little bit there, but it's not as easy when it's up top of the main ramp. And here the zealots are chasing the SCV. The SCV going to go ahead and head back home. Unfortunately, the SCV is not going to be able to actually get in the base, and so it looks like they're actually taking a wider path, trying to lose the zealots, but also leading the zealots away from their base. Meanwhile, the probe trying to see if it could find a way in, and is not able to do so. And if we notice a difference in this game versus the last game as well, Icebox is not getting more Marines, so not going to see a bio tank push, and also getting that command center, which makes sense. You saw the 2 gate. You don't want to, try to do anything aggressive because your opponent should be able to handle that. And here, the zealots are going down to meet up with this probe. We might see a little bit of a harassment on the wall, but they have a little bit of time where they could do that. But that tank's almost done, so in theory, that really shouldn't do a whole lot. Have the Dragoons starting to come out. Range not started yet for Captain Catalina, so something to keep an eye on there. The Academy coming down now for Icebox. Going to be able to get the ComSat and get a quick scan on the Protoss to see what kind of tech they're doing right now, because ever since the initial scout, which I'm not sure what happened to that SCV. Not sure. I thought it got away from the Zealots, it looked like, but maybe if it didn't get caught by the Zealots, it might have got caught by something else, like maybe a Dragoon if it was trying to get back in there and scout. Gene Shop is working on that siege mode, so it's like we've got a pretty standard siege expand happening here. Captain Catalina pulling their units back. And Icebox going ahead and giving a quick scout with the Marine here just to see if there's anything in their natural that they're going to have to push out or anything waiting to sort of charge in on them as they expand. But it looks like Captain Catalina is happy to just pull back here. Going to go ahead and probably take their natural, knowing that Terran is most likely taking theirs soon here. Command Center float is on the way. Now they brought all of the tanks down. In Fighting Spirit, you could put a tank or two up here on the high ground for that high ground advantage, but there's nothing here to threaten them from Captain Catalina for right now, so not the biggest of deals. Onsat station going down at both of the bases. Here we do have the robotics facility coming down, as well as the natural now underway. So Terran a little bit ahead at the moment with the base count. Second and third factory under construction for Icebox. Just looking to see which tech Captain Catalina's going to want to go for. This is an interesting pylon because it could allow Captain Catalina to do a couple of things. And there are some scans going off for the Terran here, checking the tech, seeing that it's still just 2 gates and the robo, and sees that the natural is not quite up yet. But this pylon here, it could just be acting as a spotter. So if any dropships were coming in to say drop some vultures in a tank or something like that, Captain Catalina will have a lot of heads up that is coming. It could also be to hide tech, but really at this point in the game, I don't know that you would be really trying to hide any tech. They are throwing down the observatory here, so there wouldn't be anything like Dark Templars, which is maybe something that you would want to hide coming anytime soon. The only other thing I could think of that you might want to hide would be if you're going to go ahead and switch into carriers and you want that to be like a surprise. And so the pylon down here might be for something like that. Icebox, or rather Captain Catalina, does have a nice little army here. Good Dragoon count, but not really going to be able to do much. Only moving forward with a little bit of it, perhaps. And just looking to see what the Terran's position is and not wanting to risk too many of their units. Could also be afraid of like a run by or some sort of backstab, so just keeping a few to guard at home. They're going to come down here and find this Terran force.
Stay a while and listen.
Almost out of the range of the tanks here to harass, and going to go ahead and wisely pull back. Lost a few more than they needed to really, but they did get some intel. They know what the Terran is up to. And that Zealot does get picked off. So now Captain Catalina trying to get a little bit of harass. It is attracting these vultures here, so going to get at least one free kill there. Can just kind of freely fire until these 2 tanks move up, and then they're going to get pushed back. I'm not sure if Dragoon range, I think Dragoon range may have been researched, and oh no, the Dragoon's getting pulled in. They weren't on hold position, so as soon as the attacks come by, and now there's some more shots being fired, pulling these Dragoons in, they really need to hold position outside, so that way they don't get dragged in by that. And unfortunately losing a lot of Dragoons here, and just really lower in supply than the Terran, which when you're playing PvT is not really the situation you want to be in, especially early on. You want to keep your supply up above the Terrans. So Icebox working on their worker lead. They're up to 41 to 29, throwing out some scans, checking what the Protoss is up to here. Does manage to catch a glimpse of this build, 3rd gateway coming down, but now there is also a 4th gateway. Oh no. This could be bad with the placement of this particular gateway. This one is fine, but this one, this is now like a Dragoon trap. if Dragoons spawn, which they're going to, for this one, they're going to spawn on this right side until it gets cluttered up. They are going to be stuck there. So that is very unfortunate to see here for Captain Catalina. They're going to have to sacrifice a building of some sort in order to get that Dragoon out. Here we have Icebox. They are getting the Vulture speed, so these are still slow Vultures for right now, but they can still do a job of scouting out other bases, leaving mines, so that way there's some vision along those paths, and also keeping tabs to make sure that Captain Catalina's not taking any expansions that Icebox is not aware of. Icebox macroing nicely behind this. Did get their starport here. It looks like they are getting... Is it their first armory? Looks like their first armory to start getting some upgrades. Going ahead and adding a fourth factory here. There is an observer in the Terran base, so Captain Catalina can kind of keep tabs on what the Terran is doing and going ahead and expanding toward the Terran. Which is something that you might not normally want to do. But, you know, it's not necessarily a bad thing. The general rule of thumb that I always think of when I think of like TVP is that Terran is kind of wanting to go expanding toward. Hold on. Oh. I was like, I hear shots being fired, but could not figure out where. So Captain Catalina realized they had 3 Dragoons trapped back here and had to take out that gateway. So if they do put another gateway and they put it in line with the others, you know, they're not going to trap the Dragoons, but they do have a really long path. The further down this goes, then the longer path those Dragoons are going to have in order to get out of the base. But yeah, the general rule of thumb I always think of in this matchup is that Protoss is probably going to want to expand away from the Terran to make it harder to push on those expansions, and Terran is going to want to expand toward the Protoss, so that way they can sort of defend and take bases as they move towards the Protoss's bases. Not always true, not true of every map, but I think Fighting Spirit is kind of an older one where that sort of rings true. But we'll see how these players played out. I like Icebox going ahead, throwing down mines where they can. Keep vision, keep tabs on that Protoss army, so that way they can know when it moves out, where it's going, what it has in it. Not really doing a pylon wall here, so I think with 3 pylons, maybe 4, you can just sort of wall this up, so that way vultures can't come running in. So pretty risky there of Captain Catalina to leave that open. But right now there are no probes mining there, so if it were to be discovered and pushed into by the Terran with their vultures, would not be hard. They do scan there now, so they do know that that base has been taken by Captain Catalina. See what they decide to do. It looks like they are going to go ahead and take out a good chunk of their force here. Looks like they might be a little bit supply blocked at the moment. Oh, and just as I say that, I think a couple of buildings finished. Like a command center and a supply depot or something to allow them to. And I think they scanned over top of their... probably checking for observers? But they don't have any Goliaths, so if there were observers following along, they would not be able to do anything about it. Captain Catalina, meanwhile, is just macroing up a bit. Throwing down 2 forges at the third base here, but again, there really isn't a wall. And actually, those might be the first forges for Captain Catalina, so not able to get cannons. It looks like Captain Catalina is going to kind of come down in a straight line here into the Terran army. So the Vulture's trying to keep these Dragoons back, and the Dragoons are going to melt to the tanks. Some more Dragoons coming on the way, but they need to not join up with this fight right now. This is not a fight that Captain Catalina wants to take. Very low on supply underneath, or compared to Icebox here. Icebox moving up. Going to actually skip this third here and just go straight for the natural. Like the play. I think Icebox pretty much is feeling confident with this move here that they can seal this game up. Given that, you know, they had just crushed a large number of goons from Captain Catalina. Like they do have the 2-1 upgrades. Looks like they are going to push into this natural. Captain Catalina trying to stop this, bringing down the Dragoons, but not quite able to do it. It looks like this natural is going to fall under siege from the Terran army. And I see in the chat, glad to see more AI play. This is actually human against human play. This is from the Coach-Pupil League, 7th season. We are watching the Attitude Plus team going up against the Beach Buddies of StarCraft. This is some week 2 play. This is the tier 3 players of the teams. And we're currently watching Icebox against Captain Catalina in game 2. So here Captain Catalina trying to bring these Dragoons down to try and help save this natural, but unfortunately it's just not going to be enough. These tanks going to easily clean up these Dragoons. This mine, oh, nice mine shot there, taking out a couple of those Dragoons. Then the natural falls. Captain Catalina in a little bit better position than they were in the last game when they lost this, because they do have this base over here on the right. However, I don't think they're going to be able to break this. They do have a lot of gateways, but they've also trapped 3 of their Dragoons again with their gateway placement. And now Icebox starting to do that same building that they were doing when they were occupying the natural last game. They're getting down the turret. They're, you know, throwing some buildings down and just going to hunker down in this position and make sure that the Protoss cannot leave. Meanwhile, going to go ahead and try and use this engineering bay for vision up here, but just able to see that cannon. The Vulture kind of getting pulled into that, unfortunately, but Captain Catalina is not really going to be able to do any and moving out without the 1-1 yet. So they are a bit behind in the upgrades too, since they didn't get those forges until they had their 3rd up. Yeah, the Terran player here, Icebox, just slowly tightening the grip that they have on the player. Reavers are out now, which is what they needed in the last game to try and break the siege, but I think the siege is a bit too far back to allow this Reaver to be able to do too much. And now, with the cannons firing on the 3rd, Captain Catalina is going to go ahead and give the GG, and Icebox is going to take the match 1-0. And real quick, something to note before I jump into the next game is that there was one walkover in this tier 3 matchup. I don't know which team it went for, so at the moment, Attitude Plus is going to go, or sorry, not Attitude Plus, Beach Buddies of StarCraft is going to go up 1-0 in this against Attitude Plus. Up next, we are going to have Peru from Attitude Plus up against Marmotato. Or, I typed that wrong. It's Marmotato. From the BBS Beach Buddies of StarCraft, we're going to be going into Game 1 on Eclipse. Let's go ahead and get that started. Alright, so the players are both Protoss, and they're using names that are different from their names. But I can tell who is who. I believe Marmo would be Marmotato, and Zertimus would be Peru. So we've got Peru spawning as the pale blue Protoss up at the top right of Eclipse, and we've got Marmotato spawning as the red Protoss down in the bottom left. Just kind of looking to see what the two players are going to do here. So far, looking like similar builds. I mean, you kind of got to throw down a pylon to get anything else, but there are some wacky locations where that first pylon could be put. That would be a clear indication of a deviation between the two. Looks like Peru going to go ahead and throw down gateway. Same for Marmo here. Marmo going to go ahead and scout after that, while Peru is going to go ahead and sit at home. And it looks like Peru is actually going up to 2 gateways, so we have our deviation here in this mirror matchup, while Marmo is getting their assimilator back home. And now Peru, with that second gateway, going to go ahead and scout. You don't necessarily need to scout so early. Well, I mean, like, not compared to now, not saying now Peru shouldn't have scouted, but I mean, in general, you don't have to scout early on a two-player map because you know where your opponent is. You know, you're scouting in a two-player map is more just to find out what your opponent is doing as opposed to where they are. So we do have the 2 gateways on the pylon here for supply. The first gate, or zealot, getting ready to pop out here. Marmo sees that it is 2 gates, is going to stick with their 1-gate plan, is popping out a zealot here. And I would be looking for Peru to maybe try to be aggressive here with this zealot. They know that their opponent has gone 1 gate, but perhaps maybe waiting to get a few more zealots out before choosing to do so. Now the core is done. The probe from Marmo is still in the base here. Gonna go ahead and start to get chased just as Marmo goes to go ahead and move it, but not gonna quite be able to get out of here. I think there was that zealot in the way, but it looks like it was not on hold position, so it does get pulled off the ramp by the probe. So Goon range now underway for Marmo, along with the first Dragoon. Through here just kind of growing those zealot numbers, but really just staying at home with them for now. And it looks like, okay, now that they're maybe looking to move out or at least try and catch this drone, unfortunately, the zealots just didn't want to stab it. Maybe they felt bad for it, felt like it was a pet or something. And now leaving the probe in and going to go ahead and march out with these 5. There's only 1 zealot, though, for Marmo, so it's really going to come down, I think, to their micro against these 5 zealots here, which I could see this really going, like, either way. I mean, you might have, you know, like, it just really depends on how they micro against this. The 5 zealots might be able to trap the dragoons. Dragons might be able to kite well enough, but there's not really going to be a long hold at this ramp here as the zealots now engage. The zealot from Marmo going to fall pretty quickly here. And now it's going to be up to these 2 dragoons. There is I thought there's going to be a 3rd dragoon, but there is a zealot on the way, but this dragoon taking a lot of hits here from the zealots. Now the zealot being able to pull their attention off a little bit, down to 3, so 2 of the zealots have fallen, but now this dragoon is gonna fall. What is coming out of this gateway? We have a zealot and then a gate, and then a dragoon, and we're also getting robo facility behind this. So the aggression from Peru here doing pretty good, going after the probes now, trying to cut into that worker count of Marmo. This could be some trouble here, losing 3. Losing 3 workers. That definitely could have been worse. But may not be too bad. But there are 2 more zealots now coming down. There are 4 gateways actually off of 1 base here. So heavy aggression possibility. But they do have to march all the way across this really long map here. And there was a probe trying to be sneaky and hide behind the gateway there. But another dragoon pops out. Looks like the robotic support bay is coming online for Marmo, so Marmo gonna maybe try and get a Reaver, but a little short on workers from that aggression. So I don't know. doesn't have the money. They've queued all of their money into Dragoons in the gateway, so they can't even start producing the Reaver, unfortunately for them. They do, and Peru has 4 more Zealots right here ready to engage. And 4 more coming across the map, so this is not looking good for Marmo right now. Marmo being forced to pull their Zealot back, trying to do some work with it. Now they do get the Reaver under construction, but will it actually complete? Peru trying to target down this Robo Bay, Robo facility, but I don't think it's going to be able to finish in time. They just need to focus down this robotics facility. And yeah, the Reaver does not get complete. Forge starting to go down for Marmo as well, but now even more Zealots come in, and Marmo sees those reinforcements and goes ahead and taps out of the game. Nice early aggressive game from Peru there, taking the win, going up 1-0. And we'll get ourselves into game 2. Again, game 2 going to be on Fighting Spirit. Alright, and for game 2, we have Marmo spawning as the red Protoss up at the top left of the map. And we've got Peru spawning as the brown Protoss down in the bottom left. They did not play top versus bottom, so these are the colors we've got. So that early aggression from Peru was really cool to see, and I think Marmo just didn't get the Zealots that they needed to hold off that aggression before getting their Dragoons. So this will be interesting to see what they decide to go with. And there is a question in the chat about the ranks of the players. So this is tier 3. In the Coach-Pupil League, there are 4 tiers. 0, 1, 2, and 3. 0 being the highest and 3 being the lowest. There is a wide range in terms of MMR, I would say, when you're looking at tiers 3 and 2. So I can't really just say if these players are F or D or players. I think if they were probably around C, they'd probably get into like tier 2 by then or something, but there's no like hard cutoff really between the Blizzard ladder MMR and the tiers in CPL. I think they actually might keep track of a CPL MMR in the background. I'm not exactly sure. I think I saw someone from staff say something about a CPL MMR at one point. Now we do have Marmo here going ahead and starting their scout. Looks like they're going with the same build they did last time. So they got the gateway and now they're getting the assimilator. And Peru is doing the same build. So we've got the same builds again, but this time it's on a 4-player map. So Peru looks like they're not going to scout their opponent first. They are doing a cross scout though. So they might be able to deduce, depending on if they see Marmo's scout coming out of this top right base and the direction it's going, if they can realize when they see that top right is empty. And I think they do see that probe there. So the Zealot production, as we can see down in the bottom, and up in the production tab is started. Now the question is, will Peru make the deduction to go to the left? Or will they that's the direction they're going to scout? I mean, it's possible they didn't see it. And no, they are going down. So both players are going to get the last, or maybe not. Oh, okay, they are going to the left. It was just kind of going really far down there. I was not expecting that particular path from the probe. And now Peru is going to find Marmo. And the probe does get into the base, and then Marmo not going to get the scout on Peru, though, to know that this is a 4-gate, or well, 2 gates, and now a 3rd gate's going down. I thought that pylon was going to be a 4th gateway. But does see a large number of zealots. This time Marmo going ahead and producing a few more zealots, throwing down a 2nd gateway. I think they might be realizing that this might be an aggressive build like they saw just a little bit ago. Which indeed it is. So the choice to get those extra zealots in that gateway is going to potentially pay off for them. And it looks like Peru, instead of going just for the 4 gateway constant zealot production, is getting a cybernetics core along with their assimilator. So looks like they are looking to transition out of the zealots somewhat early. Going ahead and just scouting with the 1, seeing what's at the ramp, sees that it's okay, 2 zealots and that dragoon. Now the question is, will they choose to push in, or will they just be content to sit with the natural owned? And it looks like for now at least they are content to just wait there in that natural. The core is finishing up here for Peru. Going ahead and throwing down another pylon. Looks like they're running into a little bit of a supply block here. Unfortunate. But Marmo has also been supply blocked for a bit as well. And now Peru trying to push into this here. Not getting a really good trade on the ramp. And unfortunately the units just kind of not cooperating there. Running behind the mineral lines and stuff. And so Marmo with the 2 zealots there able to hold the line. Unfortunately, these zealots kind of just being dragged by these dragoons on the higher ground, so bleeding a little bit of units there for Peru. And Marmo's looking in a lot better position here, feeling confident, gets those 2 zealots down, feels like moving down here against these zealots, and will force them to retreat. So Marmo gonna go ahead and be content to sit here. I was gonna say and sit here at the bridge, but no, they are advancing after the zealot army, but there is a pretty decent force from Peru down here in the bottom. So if we can get these reinforcements together, then, you know, it's looking like pretty sizable forces here. We've got 6 zealots, 2 dragoons against 4 dragoons and 2 zealots, but some of the 3 of the zealots not engaged in the fight, unfortunately for Peru. Which is really going to work against them. Needs to get those zealots up there and on those dragoons. And here they come. So now Marmo going to be forced back a little bit. But there are 2 dragoons here joining in reinforcement. But going to just go ahead and run back. Decides they don't want to take that fight. Both players still just on 1 base for now. It looks like perhaps a rally for this 3rd gateway not set. Now Marmo looking like, I was thinking maybe they were going to take their 3rd or their 2nd, but like the mineral count is so low here. So they are popping the Reaver out, but they don't have a shuttle. And really they could have started their shuttle while the robotic support bay was under construction, because that takes a while and then the Reaver takes a while. So if you get your shuttle while your robotics support bay is completing, then, you know, you'll have the shuttle pop out, then you'll be able to start the Reaver, and that will allow this Reaver to not have to crawl all the way across the map. Look at that thing. Look at that crawls. It's just like sinks that little front thing into the ground and then pulls itself along and it kind of wiggles. Nice concave here from Marmo. While Peru is going ahead and taking their natural, so both players moving ahead to taking their 2nd base here. Marmo is getting Peru rather is getting a robotics facility of their own. They also went ahead and are getting leg speed with the Citadel of Adun there that is hiding behind the unit panel. Here we do have the observer from Marmo. Going to go ahead and poke out and check on what their opponent is doing. Peru playing pretty blind this game. At this point has no idea that this natural is up. Peru going to get the scouting information because they've been playing blind as well up to this point. They see the robotics facility coming under almost complete here. Just going to go ahead and park the observer there, but doesn't see the army, which is just kind of sitting out here on the map. Now they do have the shuttle for their Reaver. They are going ahead and getting a second one, and it looks like they're pulling their observer out. Hey there, Karimio. So this is the Coach-Pupil League. So this CPL is the Season 7. Week 2, Tier 3 play between Attitude Plus and Beach Buddies of StarCraft. So this is a human league. Human versus human. We do have the shuttle now coming down in the main. Oh, that's going to get a lot of kills. Oh, the Reaver shots. Decimating that probe line. 19 kills. Really destroyed that main mining there, and just gonna go ahead and lift up and go ahead and return home. And then, oh, I like this Dragoon movement here from Peru. They did try to catch that shuttle, but unfortunately the shuttle was already on its way out the door before it could get there. And the worker count for Peru is just so low now compared to Marmo. Oh, that was so much damage. 19 kills for that Reaver. And with that, Marmo moving out onto the map a little bit here, moving across the bridge. I thought maybe they're going to try to be aggressive after taking out those workers. But they do have their observer on top of Peru's army. So they see exactly how big it is, and it looks like they're maybe going to try and come in again. They know all the Dragoons are over here, unless new ones have been made and sat there. It looks like Peru going to go for some Reaver shuttle action of their own. Reaver's coming back in here to the main. Quick reaction from Peru this time, trying to pull those Dragoons back, but they have such a long walk. Now this Reaver able to get some more kills. Actually, that might be the other Reaver, so spreading the love a little bit there for their Reavers, Marmo is. And Marmo going to go ahead and pull back. Marmo trying to even it up here, being down 0-1 in this game. They have quite the impressive army here. Do they have no upgrades from either player right now, though? So both players are at 0-0-0. This Protoss can also upgrade their shields. Dropping one of the Reavers off, or what? Sir, where did you come from, Reaver? Because this shuttle still has 2, so I don't know why this Reaver is on the ground just wandering on its own. But it looks like Marmo is maybe I don't know if Marmo saw that probe there or not, but looks like they're gonna try and drop on the natural here from the long way around. Shuttle is coming in now. Leg speed underway for Marmo. Marmo just needs to drop this Reaver. Reaction. Oh, nice. Some probes. Like, I think it was about 4 probes go down. Pick the Reaver back up. Get out of there. But the probes are returning. You could get more kills. They see this stuff. Like, oh, wait. I could get some more. Oh, and all the probes go down. Peru down to 13 probes. Peru does have a loaded shuttle with a Reaver of their own, but not bringing it in against Marmo here. Marmo just doing a lot of damage with those Reaver drops. And really, you can see the supply difference now because of these drops. You know, I think the one Reaver had like 19 kills. That the other Reaver, I don't know how many kills it has. When these Reavers drop, I'm gonna try and catch those kill counts, but it's kind of hard if they start building Reavers or Scarabs right away. But if you just look at the supply difference here, 79 to 122, Marmo getting a little bit of supply blocked here. Is throwing down a couple of pylons, I think, but yeah, got the High Templar tech out now. And really, it's just a matter of time until Marmo decides to go ahead and engage. But both players still no upgrades for their units. You have a second shuttle here now. I'm going to try and keep this shuttle selected because I want to keep an eye on those particular Reavers when they drop out, because those are the ones that have got the worker kills on them. Now, one thing is that, you know, Peru is catching back up on the worker count, as Marmo has not really been producing workers, so... Pylon being thrown back here maybe for some cannons? Okay, yeah, they are getting some cannons to try and prevent any further Reaver drops. But Marmo, actually, do they have Storm? They went ahead and just made an Archon. Oh, Storm is just about finishing now, okay. Marmo slowly moving forward, still has that Observer around Peru's army, so is aware of where that army is. There's an Observer of Peru's on their own sitting there, but it looks like the armies are going to engage now. Much larger army of Marmo, and 28 kill Reaver and 5 kill Reaver for the workers. So that was, what, 33 workers that those Reavers had slain. That is so many. And now just the superior numbers getting the nice arc for Marmo here. Gonna load those Reavers back up. That zealot just disintegrated. So many Dragoons. And unfortunately, all of Peru's army wasn't quite there for that fight. But really, I don't think there's enough that wasn't there to really been able to make a difference. Here, Marmo is going to go ahead and move into the natural here. Drop off the Reavers and go ahead and take this base from Peru. Trying to do something with their own Reaver, but taking a lot of heavy damage, and now the shuttle might get sniped. Really needs to drop that Reaver again, but with that, going to call the GG. And Marmo is going to tie it up 1-1 in this series. And so we're going to get our game 3 on Ascension. Right, so game 3 has us on Ascension, and we are in top versus bottom, so I'm going to go ahead and take advantage of that. So we get the red and blue colors. We've got Peru spawning as the blue Protoss in the top middle of the map, having gone up 1-0 after the first game. Now it's tied 1-1 by Marmo, or Marmotato, or their full name registered with CPL, spawning as the red Protoss over on the right of the map. So we've seen, I think, essentially the same sort of style from Marmo both games, with some slight differences to deal with the aggression that came from Peru. Peru pretty much did the same opener as well, but transitioned out of it a little bit earlier, perhaps because the aggression was not going to be as effective in that second game. And as usual, we are seeing Pylon come down. So while we're in the early stages, I can talk a little bit about the map Ascension, because it is a bit of a weird one. I think it is a slightly older map from what I'm remembering hearing. But the naturals can be kind of hard to hold. You know, if we're looking at this natural here, you have this very wide choke, which leads into this little weird, awkward space here where you have this ramp that you have to fight uphill, or this little tiny choke that you have to pass through. So the map is a pretty interesting one. Now here, scout from Peru gonna go ahead and get the last scout, but Marmo is going to get the first scout on Peru here, coming into the main. Gonna see again that it is 2 gateway play. Which if I was Marmo, I mean, you lost to this the first game, but then game 2 you did handle it well. So gotta be feeling pretty comfortable, I would think, if you're Marmo here, seeing this 2 gate again. There is a big difference though in that there is no ramp for this one. So holding this with just 1 gate gonna be a little bit more difficult, I think, than so yep, they're going ahead and getting a second gateway this time. While they did get the gas and they'll be a little bit behind, they will have the defender's advantage in terms of units popping out and reinforcements. But if I were gonna do this, I would probably pull my probes off of gas. I mean, there are only 2 instead of 3. So perhaps, you know, they're wanting to bank up some gas for when they're ready to get their core and they're ready to get their upgrades, and they are going to throw down their core now. So they are going to try and get to Dragoons as early as they can. But they're going to go ahead and get that second gateway so that way they can stay safe, since they don't have that ramp to block with zealots and rely on. And now we're going to come in here. Doesn't see the... does see the 1 gateway, but doesn't see the second one. So nice placement there by Marmo. Looks like they're not going to know that they're up against a 2 gate as well here, although a slightly different 2 gate. Now the probe here leading these zealots on a bit of a chase. The Peru going ahead and getting their gas earlier, I think, than in the other games, if I'm not mistaken. So, and throwing down the cyber core. So while they did go ahead and go 2 gate, it looks like they are not going to be as aggressive with it this game. So maybe they saw something there when they saw that 1 gate, or this is possible this has been their plan the whole time this game. But interesting to note that deviation. So I see in the chat asking, are AIs playing? No, this is 2 human players playing. This is part of the Coach-Pupil League. This is the tier 3. So the Coach-Pupil League is a great community where each season they separate into teams, and 2 teams are matched up against each other to play each week. Well, I mean, the teams are matched in pairs of 2. That's what I'm trying to say. And so the teams are separated the players are separated into tiers. So you have tier 0 through tier 3, with tier 0 being the best players in the league, and tier 3 being the, I don't want to say it as like the worst, but because that just sounds like it has a bad connotation, but essentially being the lower level players in the league. And so what we are watching is Attitude Plus versus Beach Buddies of StarCraft, 2 of the teams in the league. This is their week 2 games and tier 3. Currently we are watching Peru versus Marmotato. So Marmo being Marmotato and Zerdamus being Peru. So it looks like out of this 2 gate, back to the action in the game, Peru is going and taking their natural ahead of Marmo. Marmo perhaps waiting for that aggression that isn't coming. Now, I think we might be seeing some Dark Templars soon. We do have the Templar Archives way in the back. So that's pretty exciting to see. Peru has not been getting detection for a very long time. So this could be big trouble for Peru if that is going to be Dark Templar. And I'm watching, and there it goes. There's the Dark Templar started. So we're going to go ahead and, Marmo going to go ahead and move out a little bit. probably going to take their natural behind this. They do have the money for it, but just kind of moving out a little bit. They're not exactly sure where Peru's army is at this point, so just being a little bit cautious. And here I think the probe is coming out to go ahead and lay down that natural. Marmo maybe going to wait for the Dark Templar to come out. And I'm watching, and there is a Templar Archives of their own for Peru, so Peru might be starting their own Dark Templar here shortly. The Dark Templar, though, are out for Marmo. We're just gonna kind of watch them make their way across the map here. Peru coming out with some units, but Marmo just running right past them, doesn't care. Has, I think, the army to defend what Peru is sending. Peru getting High Templar, not getting Dark Templar, so no detection available for Peru. This might be trouble. Peru even opening the gates. There was an engagement here which Marmo took just fine. And now Dark Templar, we've got one in the main, racking up the kills. Another getting glitched, could end up stuck behind, almost ends up stuck behind the minerals there, but not quite happening. Now we got 7 kills from the natural. A forge being started, but I don't know if there's enough time. Gonna get all of these probe kills down to 11 workers now. 12 kills on the one, 8 kills on the other. Trying to trap this one Dark Templar, but the other one, if it wanted to take swipes at the forge, it could. Gonna go ahead and catch that High Templar and have to swing at the Zealot. Peru's army sitting out here, maybe gonna try and poke in desperation here as the Dark Templar have really cut into the army and the workers. Gonna keep an eye on this battle here. Zealot's doing a pretty good job of keeping the other, or Marmo's Zealot's doing a good job of keeping Peru's Zealots off of Marmo's Dragoons. But now there's also a Dark Templar in the defense, and yeah, that falls very quickly. And now these Dark Templar are gonna get even more kills, trying to take out this main nexus. There are a couple of cannons coming down here now for Peru, but nothing at the natural. Trying to replace the workers as best as they can. Really down to 3-2 now. One worker left, and it's the one by the cannons. If Marmo can get this other nexus, Peru will not have the money to replace it, so Peru in a very, very bad spot here. Sending the probe to mine, but pretty soon it's not going to have anywhere to return those minerals. As the Dark Templar go ahead and take that out. We've got the 15 kill and 24 kill. And with that, we get the GG. Well, this is in top versus bottom, so most likely, you know, the chat defaults to allies only. And so probably did give the GG there, and then went ahead and left the game. So Marmo takes it 2-1 against Peru, which is going to put the Beach Buddies of StarCraft up 2-0. Up next, we're going to have Morik versus Task. And I don't know which race these two players play, so it's going to be a surprise for you. It's going to be a surprise for me. Actually, I can see it when I go to load the replay. So it looks like Morik is Zerg and Task is Protoss. And so, spawning in the top right as the purple Zerg, we have Morik. And down in the bottom left, as the blue Protoss, we have Task, playing under the name Pro Gamer. Gotta pronounce. Good luck, have fun, YouTube, babe. Could already tell from the name Pro Gamer with the additional R's that Task was going to be a fun one. So here we have the very, very early scout here from Task. Morik saying, there we go. Maybe talking about the lag or something, not quite sure. think we are going to see, almost got spotted by that Overlord there. But yeah, we're going to see, I think, some proxy gates does throw that pylon in the corner there. This is the kind of stuff some people love to see from the tier 3 play, seeing the cheese happen. Mork is going to go 9 pool. So we'll have Zerglings and get the gas. So maybe going to go 9 pool Speedlings? Not exactly sure of the ZVP builds. First gateway is under construction, and I expect once we hit 150 minerals, we will see the second gateway come down. There it is. Mork. This could be very interesting too, depending on the timing of these zealots. When Task wants to move forward with them. And when Mork is going to get those Zerglings. So it has the larva for them. Goes ahead and gets the Zerglings, but only has the one drone on gas. There we go. Gets the second one on there. So going to go ahead. Wait, those were drones. That's not gonna be good for Mork, because they're about to have zealots at their door. This might be a pretty quick game here, depending on what happens, and if Task moves out with them. Going for a very fast laird, no army at all from Mork. Task really needs to move forward and is going to now with these 2 zealots and the probe, and all 3 of the larvae just get spent on drones again. Mork playing very, very greedy here and about to get punished for it as this Overlord just sees the zealots come in. A Hydralisk then is down, so it looks like it was going to go, Mork was going to go for some early play. And Mork with the well shit. Love the banter in the chat. Gives the GG. So a very quick going up 1-0 right now for Task. Both players trying to be a little bit cheeky there with what they were doing. Go ahead and get into game 2, which will be on Fighting Spirit. And again, while I'm getting this game loaded, if you know anybody that's playing on either of the teams, it is in Tier 3. This cast did not get announced, unfortunately, so be a buddy. Let them know that their games are being casted if they want to watch. They can always check out the VOD as well, but I think it's a lot of fun, at least when I'm trying to catch my own game, to catch it live. Alright, and so apparently we're right-clicked on a drone already, spawning as the red Zerg down in the bottom left. We have Mork, and spawning as the blue Protoss up in the top right. We have Task. So, will we see a bit more of a standard game, being a 4-player map from these 2 players, or will we see them both trying to be cheeky again? I think that is the question. There is a probe here. Is it going to slam down that pylon here at the natural? Looks like it is going to. It looks like Task is going ahead and playing a bit more standard here. And I like this, going ahead and mining from the natural with this probe, which will now return home. And by the time it gets down to the natural, it should be about time to throw down either the gateway or the forge, depending on what they are going to go for first. As you can see, they've got the 130. Now they're at the 150. They can go ahead and throw down the gateway. And they're just going to go ahead and mine again. Meanwhile, we do have another 9 pool, it looks like, from Mork. So we'll see if Mork this time decides to go ahead and get some lings, or if they're going to try and do drone heavy play straight into some sort of one hatch Hydra play. Going to keep an eye on these larvae here. Looks like they are saving up some money. They're sitting on 9 drones, so yeah, they're saving this larva. If these are not Zerglings, I will be surprised again. Okay, they're getting the Zerglings this time. Task is getting the couple of Zealots, the rally point set back at the ramp. Which is kind of interesting. I'm surprised they're not trying to complete this wall, but it looks like they are going to throw down their Nexus here. The Zerglings are out on the map. Mork has pretty much decided that there's nothing down in the bottom right, which would be a correct assumption here. The Zerglings are on their way, hopping along to check out that top right base. And they're going to come up to find the Zealot, lone Zealot here by the gateway. Going to be able to quickly dispatch that. I'm going to go ahead and try and target down the pylon to unpower the gateway. Now there is a Zealot and a probe here. Probe doing a good job of playing a little bit of interference. Having to pull some probes though to deal with this. The Zealot I think will pop out in time though. Maybe. It's cutting it pretty close. Probe's coming down. They do pull the attention off of that pylon, and the Zerg unfortunately going to lose all of the Zerglings there. So a little bit of damage there done by Morik, but Task able to shrug it off pretty well. And behind this now, Morik looking a bit more normal here, getting the natural hatchery. Going to go ahead and try to drone up a little bit here. Sees that Task is going for this fast expansion, so knows that they're not going to have to worry about aggression for a little bit, which gives them this opportunity to build up their worker count here. Also going to throw down a creep colony and a hatchery. Going to start that natural wall here. Nice wall here from Task. Going to be able to stop any things trying to run by to, harass the main, harass the natural, harass, just get information, etc. Going ahead and getting their core now. Morik morphing the sunken colony a little prematurely. There's no aggression coming out from Task just yet. You're cross position, and you have this Overlord position to know when Task might move out, so you could just sit with a creep colony there and then use that 50 minerals for, whatever other units you might need. I can speak English properly. But, gonna go ahead and morph it anyway. They are getting that third hatchery. +1 attack going for Protoss. The attack upgrade's very important to get because it does cut down on the number of attacks that the Zealot needs to make to cut through the Zerglings. Now throwing down the Evo chamber as well at the natural wall, and it looks like the larvae are going to spawn at the top of that hatchery now. Also getting the Hydralisk then and their lairs. They can go ahead and probably get the Lurker aspect and start getting their Hydras, unless they're going to go for just a Hydra bust. But they only have the 3 hatcheries for right now. Getting that natural gas too to help that gas upgrade. Task does have their natural gas, but not mining from it just yet. We do have the Stargate for Corsairs, which are just starting under construction now. Oh, I guess warping, starting the warping now. Unfortunately, this little probe has done a good job and has decided that they deserve a vacation until this base is mined out. That's unfortunate to see. I always hate when workers get stuck in those weird little spots. Happens a lot with Terran because the way that the workers float over the buildings, and then they could be anywhere on the building when it's done, and then they've got to resolve that situation, and they will just resolve that in the worst way possible and get themselves stuck somewhere. Which I guess could be good if you're going to go ahead and try and do like stacked Valkyrie or something, but usually not a good thing. Lurker aspect halfway done now. Have a small little bit of a Hydra force here. Of course, they're going to come flying in, taking some hits from the Hydras, but gets out of there kind of quickly. Doesn't see any overlords that it can really take, so going to go ahead and just exit. Got the scout in, sees the tech, and just going to head up here to the top left to make sure. Going to go ahead and snipe the overlord, cause a little bit of a supply block here, but that is going to prompt Morik to go ahead and get some overlords, but not going to be able to get the lurkers just yet, because to morph a lurker, it takes supply. It takes one more supply to morph that Hydralisk into a lurker, so until these overlords hatch, if the plan was to make all of these Hydras lurkers, not going to happen for a little bit. In here, Pass was looking like they were maybe going to go ahead and move out across the map, but they're just going to sit outside the front of their wall, gather the forces a little bit, and now they're going to go ahead and march out across the map. Missile upgrade is underway along with Storm from Task, so these Zealots are going to see what they can do, and they're going to pass by these, and the Zerglings are okay. The armies are just going to partially pass by each other, but now Task is going to see these lurkers and really needs to be careful, but Task also, or Morik also needs to be careful, because that lurker could just, yeah, start getting attacked, but now the Zealots were up against the wall there, but they could just run at the Zerg natural now if they want, but I think the wall along with the lurkers behind are going to be able to stop this. Trying to engage her, but now the lurker's burrowing in position to do some damage. One, I think, lurker did get caught. Some of the Zealots are able to run into the main, which has no defenses right now. Gonna go ahead and target down the Hydralisk then. And so the force that got stuck at the wall did get cleaned up, but this main is in a lot of trouble here. The lurkers running up towards the natural of Task with the lurkers. Targeting down the overlords too, so Morik trying to clean this up, but really lost some of those buildings, which is really going to be a problem. And the Zealots just still aren't done in the main, tearing into this Queen's Nest now. Morik trying to hatch some more Zerglings to deal with that. Meanwhile, the lurkers up here going to try and burrow. And this cannon does give vision, so as long as it's alive, but now it falls, and 2 lurkers did go down, but there are still 3 here that are going to have some free reign. There is another cannon maybe being made, but it will finish, but it's starting to take some damage now from these lurker spines. Gonna get some shots off and actually finish this lurker. And the Queen's Nest almost getting sniped. The Hive underway already though, so gonna go ahead and try and target down this pylon, but 1 lurker against the pylon. It's a bit beefy. I think these cannons are gonna finish and be able to clean this lurker up in time. Plus, a second pylon is started, so if this one does fall, before the cannon can finish the lurker, it'll just be moments before the next one finishes. Plus, observers are now out, so this attack is gonna fizzle out here, but now Armo can't really get any units, and there is a spore colony here. The overlord's trying to huddle over it, but yeah, Task is just going to keep Morik supply blocked as much as they can. Only supply available coming from the hatcheries in the Hive. Having to morph as many overlords as they can currently. 6 underway. Task is looking very nice right now in this situation. Oh no, and these overlords were moving away from the spore colony. Does have a moment of supply, so could morph something really quickly here. Is trying to get some Zerglings, but more Zealots are flooding into the natural here. And it's looking like Mark is really struggling here. Needs to get some overlords made, but yeah, now these Corsairs going to come and clean up these overlords too. Zerglings do finish, but trying to maybe do something where they could do a run by, but I mean, if I was Task, I wouldn't even be worried about that too much. And with that, Morik is going to go ahead and GG. And Task will take that series 2-0, putting the Beach Buddies of StarCraft up 3-0 against Attitude Plus. And so with that, up next, we are going to have Thunder Dragon versus Azrael, which will be a Terran versus Terran, which is something I could not get away from for a while. So this should be pretty exciting to watch. I think I am going to step away for just a quick moment. So I will be right back, and then once I am back, we will get into this game. All right, I am back, so let's go ahead and get into this. First game of this matchup, TVT, Thunder Dragon versus Azrael. We've got Azrael spawning as the blue Terran up in the top right of the map, and Thunder Dragon spawning as the red Terran down in the bottom left. So Terran versus Terran, what we're going to be watching here is to see if either of these players really try to play aggressively in the beginning to try and get a quick end to the game, or are they really going to be going for the map split here on Eclipse? Because really, Terran versus Terran can come down to, you take the bottom left takes like this side of the map here, and then Terran takes the top right takes this side, and then it's kind of a fight over who gets this double gas space, right? So you can try to end it early if you go for like a aggressive opening. You might be able to get a good contain on your opponent that your opponent just cannot break, but I think from past games that I've seen of both of these players, I think we are in for a treat for this. Both players going ahead, getting their first supply depots down. It's like we're not seeing any sort of proxy barracks action going on. And now we do have the barracks coming down. The rally point already set here for Azrael. Gas getting started at 11. And then we have the scout coming out for both players. So both players pretty much doing the same thing so far. Maybe just moments apart from each other. Though Asriel is checking for any potential proxies, while Thunder Dragon is going straight for the base. Of Asriel. So the SCV is there, but not really doing any scouting. Now it is though, and Thunder Dragon's SCV is about to arrive. The factory was started a little bit sooner for Thunder Dragon than for Asriel. Asriel did go ahead and get 2 Marines, and Thunder Dragon went ahead and did not get a Marine yet, which is something you can get away with on a 2-player map. If you know your opponent has tossed their barracks in their main, you don't have to worry about some sort of proxy play or early Marine aggression. You can go ahead and, you know, get your factory before that first Marine to get your factory out just that much faster than your opponent. Now, the scout from Thunder Dragon doesn't really need to stay in here. I mean, maybe you're watching to try and see if the second factory comes down or not, but really, you know, you could keep that SCV alive and just kind of wait to see what comes out. And unfortunately, because it died without making it back into this natural, you know, another way that you could verify if this is going to be some sort of expand or 2 factories, if you get out and you keep that scout alive, you can just kind of poke in, and if you're able to see this command center go down, you know, then you know, okay, well, I'm up against an expansion here. It looks like we are getting the vultures out here for the 2 players. So both pretty much doing the same build so far. Now the starport is started. Oh, and I still have... Hold up. The map revealed. Let's go ahead and hide that now. The 2 barracks are going to embrace as they pass. And actually, a little bit of deviation here. Okay, so the quick starport implies there's going to be some Wraith play coming out of Asriel. And they went ahead and only got 1 vulture, and then they went straight to tanks. Whereas Thunder Dragon is going up to 3 factories, continuing to pump vultures, and is getting vulture speed. So it looks like Thunder Dragon is maybe going to try and get into some vulture wars here, but Asriel does have the tank, which should be able to shut that down. At least until Thunder Dragon has mines. Vulture speed almost finished up here for Thunder Dragon, and once that's done, these vultures will probably go up to check out what's happening at the natural. But this barracks is about to get vision. It will see the tank here and the vulture. The Marines are not in place, and Asriel, you know, moving that tank a little bit, should have seen the barracks, does. And then Thunder Dragon rightly hiding that barracks just over that choke there, or over that spot, is a little bit visible, and now it's hidden. Up and invisible again. It's always tricky to get that barracks in just the right spot where you're not going to be, your opponent is not going to be able to see it. But here you can see a little bit of what's happening. So now Thunder Dragon waiting until they get mines. What I'd really like to see from Thunder Dragon is this move out right as mines is about to finish. Go ahead and get a lot of mines out here. Make it so that that tank cannot move out, but they might be in a little bit of a surprise for this Wraith. They are getting the Academy though, so once Cloak... feels like if you're not going to move in with Uncloaked Wraiths, you should probably get the Control Tower first, so you can start that research and then start pumping your Wraiths. Because now you're kind of in this awkward spot where you have these 2 Wraiths, but you're not able to do too much with them. And Thunder Dragon trying to push in with this a little bit, but the tank alone is going to be able to shut this down. And now we do have the Wraiths coming in, beelining towards Thunder Dragon's base, and I don't think Thunder Dragon saw them. So nice getting the the mine setup here. Would like to see some more mines get spread out across the map. You know, give vision of those lanes. But here now we have the Wraiths making it to the base. And we have in response an engineering base started. So Wraiths are the paper planes of the Terran army. They will get some worker kills here, but I like that the repair on the SCV that the Wraiths are targeting. But really these should end up just being more of a nuisance than really damaging. But, oh no, don't go in with the vultures. That tank is just going to destroy them. Really trying to push it. That does have a large number, actually, so you just got to be careful that those mines don't take your own vultures out if they go off against that tank. Scan going down from Azrael so they can go ahead and get that. But look how little damage the vultures do to these tanks. It's so little. But Azrael's not really producing anything. Like, no more tanks. Oh, a good number of Thunder Dragon's own vultures go down, but they do manage to break into this natural. And they're forcing the retreat of those SCVs there. And now they're placing the mines in the natural. Just going to be a problem for Azrael. Trying to get the repair and does have some high ground advantage here, so Thunder Dragon doing a bit of damage to that worker count, but also taking some damage of their own here. Trying to get this, taking a bit more damage from these Wraiths than I expected. Looks like they didn't really move their workers between bases, trying to, you know, waste time of those Wraiths and just letting them hang out in that main. No anti-air being built in the natural at all as well, just focusing on trying to get something made in this main. Could have taken this time to set up some turrets in the natural and then run the SCVs back there, but fortunately going to be struggling there for a bit, and that's going to allow Azrael to sort of stabilize. Oh, and those mines almost went off. They got defused just in time. Now another scan going off, and Azrael going to clean up this tank that's here. There was also a vulture apparently underneath that, and yeah, it looks like the Wraiths just really, which I thought were not going to be a problem, really causing issues for Thunder Dragon, but now finally able to get a turret, and it's going to convince those Wraiths to leave. But worker count, he's down by 10, but not too bad. All in all, given the amount of trouble that those Wraiths were causing. Oh, the regular S Epsilon. So you're asking, is this an AI fight? No, this is human versus human. This is from the Coach-Pupil League. Which, if anybody is interested in joining, I can drop a link to the Discord in the chat after this match. But it is a league where players who are not the best can join up, get on teams, get coached by players that are like S rank. And just, you know, play practice games together as a team. And then once a week you have, if you want to sign up for it, you can volunteer to be a player for your team for that week, and you get matched up to other players of your tier level. So right now we are watching tier 3 players. So there's tiers 0 through 3, 0 being the highest, 3 being the lowest. This is Attitude Plus versus Beach Buddies of StarCraft. So here we do have Azrael moving out here a bit and moving to this high ground, but does have the Goliaths, which is going to help against these tanks, doing a good amount of damage, but going to go ahead and pull back here. And going to go ahead and use the Wraiths now. This is a 6 Wraith group, but does have Cloak. And there is Scan available, so almost got that tank, but gonna go ahead and pull back for now. And this SCV coming out here looks like gonna want to go ahead and take their third. That tank wandering a bit too far onto that high ground. A little bit of a risky third here being taken by Azrael, just because... And as I say that, Azrael is positioning units where they need to get that vision on this side of the map to make sure that nothing comes up to contest this third, so never mind, this is no longer a risky third. These Wraiths here looking to see if they can find an opening into this main again to cause some trouble maybe, or just going ahead to watch. Going ahead and uncloaking. The energy is a bit low on this flock of Wraiths. Getting a repair on the tank there. A scan in the main, it looks like, just to get a count on those factories. Scan on the army there for Azrael, just checking to see what that army is looking like. Let's see, what is the factory counts going here? So we've got 4 factories. Currently getting that science facility for those upgrades. Currently at 1, getting the plating now. Should also be getting the second armory. Yep, and there it is. Meanwhile, Azrael going up to 6 factories, it looks like. Getting that third machine shop, as they do have their third here. Should see a transfer of SCVs pretty soon, as well as getting that gas established. Now, Thunder Dragon trying to lay some mines around, trying to get some vision going, but I like this. The mines here along this left path, making sure that Azrael will know the moment that Thunder Dragon tries to move along that way. Thunder Dragon trying to make a move here. Azrael finding a way, flying past the Goliaths. Goliaths trying to be pulled back, getting a scan off. Gonna get some damage there. There were a couple of Goliaths over there on that left side, so forcing those Wraiths back, but did successfully force back the army of Azrael just a little bit here. And now actually there's not a whole lot watching this line, or this lane, just the 3 tanks. And oh no! Oh, those tanks taking heavy damage and losing 1 to the mine. That has gotta hurt for Thunder Dragon. But now this path, no real vision for Azrael along it, so that's a bit of a scary thing. And as you can see, you know, the Wraiths are coming home. So making sure that they can be in position in case anything tries to come up this lane here. Thunder Dragon going ahead and taking their third now. Going ahead and positioning the army to defend that. The third, pretty well established right now for Azrael. Both players are getting their upgrades. Let's see, Azrael is also getting the plating a bit behind Thunder Dragon, but they're both about on the same track for getting that +2 weapons. And really, Thunder Dragon here could be taking this bottom right as well. Right now, with their army positioned here, I mean, there is a lane here that Azrael could take to get there. And Azrael is now positioning to sort of try and reestablish on this lane, but this base down here is somewhat safe. If Thunder Dragon had taken some of their vultures, now these don't have any mines, but if they had taken some and laid some mines here, they could have vision on that path. Now tanks taking some shots on the mines, trying to clear that up. Azrael trying to establish vision of this area for themselves, so they are going ahead and taking their fourth here. They have been faster to take bases than Thunder Dragon so far this game. Gonna go ahead and scout in here. See, okay, nothing there. Gonna go ahead and scout the other one, perhaps. Maybe a little bit of a misclick there. Not quite getting into the base. Got some more mech coming out. It looks like there's no real transition to any air units just yet for Thunder Dragon. And now the Wraith squad has got a bit larger here. I think that's 11 Wraiths. Gonna go ahead and find this engineering bay that was given some vision and try and take it down. Goliath's gonna push him back a little bit. Does take one, but going to have to rebuild that engineering bay if you're gonna want to build any more turrets. And that +2 weapon attack almost done for both of them. About to be on equal upgrades here. Azrael got that 4th established here. Got the SCV transfer happening here. Good chunk of SCVs on their way. Gonna get that 4th gas up soon and going up to the 4th machine shop. Meanwhile, Thunder Dragon only sitting on 2 machine shops, could get a 3rd one. They've been on 3 bases for a little while now. As Terran, you can do like on you can basically do like a machine shop per base, but you can do like 2 machine shops on 1 base, and like you could maybe do 3 on 2 bases too, depending on what you're doing. But typically, if you're on 3 bases, you're going to want 3 machine shops. If you get up to the 4th base, you're going to want a 4th machine shop in this matchup, so that you can get the real muscle, that tank production, once you get to the phase of people trying to, when one of you is trying to bust the other. The Thunder Dragon here looks like going to try and move into this little encampment here. And the Wraith Army is going to fly over here to try and support, but going to be a little bit too much. Able to take this out. I wonder if Thunder Dragon is thinking about taking their 4th and thinking about taking this base up here, or if they're looking to be more aggressive with this. That does make this 4th a little bit more secure to take, though, taking out that force that was there. And I think that was a scan from Azrael, just seeing, was that army continuing to move forward? Is that army, going to be a bit more stationary? Quick snipe, sees that there was only 1 Goliath here, takes it out with the Wraiths, and now is going to target down these tanks before Thunder Dragon can respond. I don't know if Thunder Dragon ever rebuilt that engineering base, so not able to get turrets over here. And Goliaths can be a little bit slow, so that was very nice for Azrael there. Took out about 3 tanks or so. And now going to push forward and move this position a little bit forward. Thunder Dragon trying to secure this position here. Pushing, Azrael trying to secure this position. Pushing Thunder Dragon back a bit here. Thunder Dragon is lower on supply right now. Did get the 3rd machine shop now, so we've got, 7 factories to 7 factories as well. This one seems to not be rallied. Hopefully that gets fixed on a future macro round. Yeah, and so that little push, so moving out to secure this spot and having these mines and these vultures here is allowing Azrael to take this bottom right base, go ahead and take their 5th, which does get scanned by Thunder Dragon. So Thunder Dragon sees the base count, knows that they are down by 2 right now. The main's starting to mine out for them. The main already mined out here for Azrael, but Azrael doing a very good job spending their gas. Both players pretty low. And the engineering bay did get made and is going to get sniped again. Oh, so unfortunate to see there. But Thunder Dragon really needs to try and take a base here or they're going to get starved out. Looks like they were maybe trying to make a move here on that base, but run into the vulture clump that was there. And with more vultures able to repel that for now. Gonna lay a few more mines. Sort of just force Thunder Dragon to siege up here. That seems to be the question of the night. Is this AI versus AI? No. This is human versus human. This is the Coach-Pupil League. Season 7. This is actually, I have the title wrong. It should be week 2. Just noticed that is wrong. This is Attitude Plus versus Beach Buddies of StarCraft. So when I highlight this, I will correct the title for the week that this is. So these are tier 3 players from the 2 teams. There are in the Coach-Pupil League tier 0 through tier 3. with tier 0 being the highest and tier 3 being the lowest. More scans going down. I think, yep, that was Azrael checking to see. So yeah, Azrael's just confirming the base count. Confirms that Thunder Dragon is just on 3 bases right now. Thunder Dragon going to try and take this base. Azrael, knowing that they are up, gonna try and deny this base, or at least make it harder to take for Thunder Dragon. Not gonna let him just take it for free. But not quite having what they need to really poke in there. The Wraith Force is up here. Looks like it just got repaired, so nice shiny new HP on those Wraiths. Poking it a little bit, doing some damage, making Thunder Dragon move more of their army up into this position here. Scanning, clearing out some of the mines that are over down that way. Now the Wraith army here getting ready to dive in. Scanning to try and see where those Goliaths are in these tanks without the Goliath support. Gonna get picked off here by the Wraiths that do have some upgrades, and we do have battle cruisers started now. There is a scan from Thunder Dragon. Gonna go ahead and push the Wraiths back, but only really able to get 2 of them. These Wraiths have really been a thorn in Thunder Dragon's side this whole game. Got some more scans going down. It looks like Thunder Dragon checking this bottom right to see if Azrael's taken it or positioned anything there. Sees that it is clear. Azrael doing a transfer here as the main and the natural are mined out. So this is what happens when you fall behind on the base count. Azrael getting this position here a little bit more secure, replanting some mines, making sure that they will be fully aware when Thunder Dragon tries to take that bottom right base there. Some more scans going down. I think Azrael maybe checking to see where those Goliaths are positioned. Barely any vultures out on the field, actually, it looks like, for Thunder Dragon. Pretty Goliath heavy, but probably just in fear of that Wraith army, which takes out the one Wraith that was there for Thunder Dragon, and now gonna clean up this and probably move their own forces forward a bit after that. Pulling back doesn't finish off the last couple of tanks that were there. Perhaps thinking that the Goliath army was going to come over there pretty soon, but in the end they didn't. So could have cleaned these other 2 tanks up, but going to go ahead just ahead and push forward. Almost maxed out, so it's worth it to push a bit at this point, gain a bit more territory. Trying to push forward with this, but there are a few Goliaths, but they get picked off by the tanks, and now these Wraiths can just cause problems. Going to go ahead and pick off the barracks here. So now Thunder Dragon doesn't have that vision up onto the high ground. And really at this point, this base is out of reach for Thunder Dragon until they can re-secure this upper ground, because Azrael can pretty much just deny it. Yeah, moving the tanks down here so that way they can make sure that, you know, there's nothing coming along this route. You can't really get your army there to defend. And then, you know, so this lane is just wide open for Azrael to use to attack this if you even try to take it. So, gonna have some problems there. It looks like Thunder Dragon is maybe gonna go ahead and try and take this double gas, but it's not going to be good for them, even if they do have the double gas, if they are not able to be equal, or, you know, if they're down 1 base, essentially, to Azrael. And that comms sound going off. A lot of scans happening here. Got some SCVs coming to the front to do some repairs after that push. Wraith Army looking pretty good though for Azrael. Was that Thunder Dragon? Yep, Thunder Dragon checking this base here again. Seeing that Azrael hasn't taken it yet, and we do have one battle cruiser out on the field now. So it looks like over time that Wraith Army. Oh, there's 4 more. Might have missed those. Now there are 5 battle cruisers out on the field. Gonna go ahead and try and move forward, but it looks like Thunder Dragon's gonna try and push into this position here. Which I'm not sure I agree with. That's not really gonna let Thunder Dragon take any bases or do much of anything. And with that, seeing the battle cruisers gonna GG out. Nice TVT there from these two. Azrael going up 1-0. We're going into game 2. We'll be on Fighting Spirit. Actually, so it looks like they played the wrong map. We are actually going to be playing on Polypoid, which is basically Fighting Spirit. So, I mean, come on. It's not all that big of a difference, right? We've got Thunder Dragon spawning as the blue Terran up in the top right, trying to stay alive in this matchup. Coming up against Azrael spawning as the red Terran down in the bottom right. So last game we saw turned into a very territorial fight. Azrael was able to be up base for pretty much most of the game, and Thunder Dragon just wasn't quite able to deal with those wraiths. Kind of caused some trouble early game, and then just throughout the whole game that wraith cloud was just a bit of a problem for him. Depot started for the players. Looks like we're not going to be seeing any sort of BBS or anything. Eric's getting started a little bit faster for Azrael. The SCV able to get into that position a little bit quicker. Thunder Dragon gets it started though. And both players getting their gas again on 11. We've got the scout going out here now for Azrael. Looks like we're going to go ahead and do a cross scout or perhaps a check for a proxy in the middle. And Thunder Dragon. Oh, just scout over to the left. Okay. But Thunder Dragon is going to get the first scout off here. Marine is out here for Azrael and should be able to force this SCV out. Or clean it up. But Thunder Dragon does see the factory under construction there. Goes ahead and gets their factory started as well. Makes the Marine, but unfortunately the Marine gets stuck. So, not that big a deal though. Looks like they only wanted to make the one Marine, which is fine. Now the Vulture getting started here for Thunder Dragon and for Azrael, and both getting their command centers down. Azrael just a few moments faster than Thunder Dragon, so now Thunder Dragon getting the last scout will see the command center and know that this is a fast expand. Thunder Dragon playing a little bit blind, not knowing for sure that Azrael did go for a fast expand again, as their scout did get cleaned up before they could confirm that. Azrael getting a nice loop there on the main base, able to confirm one factory, see the CC, see you don't have your machine shop yet. Pretty much able to tell what Thunder Dragon is doing at this point. Second factory being added on for both players, that machine shop underway. That barracks just not quite where it needs to be. Moving actually a little bit too far. It moved back into vision of that Marine, so gonna get some shots off on it again. And Thunder Dragon here just sending their barracks over the base of Azrael. Sees the 3 factories, I think, now. Yeah, because they saw the first one under construction, so they see that it is indeed 3 factories that their opponent is going up to, and now they are going up to 3 factories of their own as well behind this, doing the SCV transfer, both players here. It looks like Azrael both of them actually now getting that Vulture speed, so a little bit of a different build here from Azrael this game. In the first game, they went ahead and got 1 Vulture and then immediately got a tank. This game, it looks like they are going for a large pack of Vultures, same as Thunder Dragon. We could see ourselves a good set of Vulture wars here, perhaps. Both players doing a good job, about equal on their workers. But Thunder Dragon hitting a little bit of a supply block here. Whoops. Trying to actually, for some reason I was like, click on the name, it'll take me to Thunder Dragon's base. That's not how that works. Throwing down 2 supply depots to deal with that supply block, but that supply block is going to hurt. Azrael is just going to, you know, grow that supply lead. But with the barracks here, gonna be able to see if this Vulture army moves out. Speed is finished for both of them, and now they're both getting mines, pumping out those Vultures as much as they can. Thunder Dragon trying to play catch up on the supply, but unfortunately that supply block really gonna hurt here. And it looks like Thunder Dragon maybe even running into another supply block. Oh, no, okay, supply depot finished somewhere, just in time. Almost did, though. Looks like the natural gas is getting started for Azrael here. Mine's almost finished. Thunder Dragon moving out on the map a little bit, but not quite able to be seen by this barracks, unfortunately for Azrael. But we'll see if that comes into play. Oh, and here we have the start of the Vulture Wars. Azrael moving up, has the superior numbers. Gonna force Thunder Dragon back here. And Azrael being smart, trying to take this fight on high ground and force Thunder Dragon to be on the low ground for that mischance. Gonna go ahead and lay some mines down as they move forward. This barracks unfortunately gonna burn down or be shot down by the 2 Marines. And Azrael switching over, did get their natural gas a bit faster than Thunder Dragon. Gonna go ahead and switch over to tanks now, getting that siege mode. Adding on another factory. But Thunder Dragon is getting that +1 vehicle attack before Azrael. But Azrael really taking over the map right now. Laying down those mines. But really with the switch to tanks, Thunder Dragon might be able to, you know, contest this Vulture force, but instead just going to go ahead and move around with a small force of Vultures, leave the main bulk ready to defend the home if need be. Got some mines to watch this lane. Burn down some mines to watch over there. So both players just looking to sort of hunker down, take vision where they can. There's a scan there from somebody. Or maybe that wasn't a scan, that was just a weird vision pop. While the scan went off somewhere else. +1 now started for Azrael as well, so not going to be too far behind. The Comsat station's coming down for Thunder Dragon, so that's going to have to be Azrael. A second armory is also on the way, which I don't think has been started yet. Okay, actually, I was wrong. Wait, no, that's Thunder Dragon. Sorry, Thunder Dragon starting their second armory while the Starport is under construction. Azrael does not have their second armory started just yet. Nice mine placement around the map, just making sure they have vision. They'll know what's up if Thunder Dragon makes any moves along those paths. Still has a few mines that they can use, but gonna bump into the Vultures of Thunder Dragon here. Gonna take this fight, sees that they've got the bigger force there right now. Thunder Dragon's Vultures a little bit split up. Catching the second pack now, gonna get these three. Nice little pickup there for Azrael. Thunder Dragon sieging up just in case that force comes forward, but not gonna get there quite right away. Scans going down from the players, checking out what's going on. I think that was Thunder Dragon doing some scans on bases to try and see, you know, have any bases been taken. Because actually, Thunder Dragon this game, going ahead and trying to take their third now. And then Thunder Dragon seeing, okay, that's where you're positioning. That's what you've got. Saw this tank with these mines. And had to check what force is there. Sees that it's a few tanks. Sees that this path is getting sieged up. Which is going to make this base off limits for now. Azrael positioning the Vultures over here to the left. Going to go ahead and take them. I'd love to see Azrael place some mines up along here. So that way you know when Thunder Dragon is starting to move out to that left. But probably don't need to right away. If you scan and you see this third is just getting taken, that's not really too big of a concern. Gonna go ahead and take actually the fourth of theirs now. They're going in and taking the third down here to get the third gas. This is mineral only. So we'll see if that gas discrepancy comes into play. But right now, both players at about the same gas. Both just a little bit over 900, so that's kind of funny to see. And they're both spending the same amount of gas right now. So Azrael just spending spending more gas as they have 3 machine shops. And Thunder Dragon right now just on the 2 as they just have the 2 gas bases. Azrael doing a bit of positioning here, just sort of marking this line here of tanks, and this poor one little tank doing a dance, stuck because of the terrain of these 2 Goliaths. I think it's F6 to reset the game. Yeah. Having to reposition this 4th. Actually, that might have just been a misclick there trying to get the commands or the Comsat station down. Got the transfer of the SCVs. The mineral only is complete as well. Could transfer some SCVs to that if they wanted to. Some more scans going down for Thunder Dragon. Checking this army position. He's the dancing tank, I believe. Now some more scans going down. Thunder Dragon still down in supply though. So a little bit lower on the worker count. And Thunder Dragon going ahead and taking their 4th. So doing a good job of taking bases this game. Wanting to make sure that they don't stay behind Azrael for very long. Oh, Kakaroo. And also Dancing Bengalas. We have some scans going down here. Does see this third base, sees that they have an open lane to it, and it's not defended yet. Oh, and another command center being floated over too, so running in before that wall is built, taking out the SCV, gonna take some shots on this command center, force it to be lifted, and force the army of Thunder Dragon to come over here. Gonna go ahead and mine this up to make that a little bit harder. Sees that there was another CC floating over as well, so knows that the plan was to take this base plus the other main on the top left. And now trying to fight up this hill with just vultures. Not doing so well. They do have a few wraiths this time though, so they are going to pull those over to try and help out, get those extra shots, but fighting uphill with that mischance, not going to be too good. And now they do have a couple more wraiths coming in though to this fight. Should be able to repel this, but getting a little bit of a delay there. And having seen that second CC floating over here, Azrael's placed 3 vultures, going to make sure that that base cannot get established easily. Oh, and we've got some dropships coming here now with each loaded with 2 tanks. So we're going to want to keep an eye on where these dropships go. And now mines being placed, or at least a mine being placed. All the vultures have mines, so just doing some multitasking. Not quite able to get mines in this main yet. Now is able to get them there. So now got to get some units over there to clear those mines. And Azrael will be able to see when it happens thanks to this minefield. So Azrael really getting that map control. Thunder Dragon trying to keep up on the base count here. But this 4th has not been operational for a long time. And Azrael has been on 4 bases for quite a while. Some turrets getting thrown down at the bases due to seeing those wraiths. Not too many, but a few. Nice little depot wall there to make entrance from that way a little bit harder. Now the dropships look like they're coming home with those tanks. Let's check on the upgrades right now. So it looks like Thunder Dragon is getting their 2-2 upgrade. And Azrael is just getting the +2 on the weapons. Thunder Dragon throwing some scans down, not quite scanning, does scan here now, and does not see the SCV. The SCV stopping just out of range of that ComSat scan. But now Azrael getting a contingent of units over here to try and make sure this doesn't land. And now it's going to go over and try and land on the main, but there's already a couple vultures there, and it's got a mine. Like, and that mine's going to see you moving over there. I don't think that base is going to happen. Oh, now we have 4 dropships. Nice Goliath contingent in there as well. But where is it going to go exactly? Almost went over the enemy army. And went ahead and pulled it back. So Thunder Dragon, they're... Oh, and Thunder Dragon also doing a little bit of a lift. Trying to get the command center, placed it out of position. Looks like cancels it. Gonna have to lift it and replace it again. But Thunder Dragon has a pretty nice defensive position here, but the problem is that it's not going to let them take more bases. Trying to move over here, runs into the tanks, may not have known that those were there just yet. Scanned from Azrael to see if there's anything else moving up that lane, sees that there isn't. And these dropships still haven't done anything yet. Gonna go ahead and unload. I think they did they do? No, they did not do a scan there, but just gonna go ahead and position these Goliaths perhaps defensively. May have spotted some dropships or is suspecting some dropship play. Ah, it does do a scan up there now. So they unloaded the Goliaths first, then checked for mines. Gonna go ahead and clear those out now. And with that now, these dropships can be free to enter this natural. Now some vultures gonna try and run up here though. Because the thing is, Thunder Dragon wants to make sure that this doesn't get taken. So gonna go ahead and relay those mines, but now Azrael's gonna have to move a bit more force over if they want to clear that and have that as an open path for their dropships. Yeah, very nice spread here by Azrael. Azrael taking the bottom left now, just continuing to grow that base lead. I think that command center that was over here eventually got taken out. Now the dropship's just looking for a way in to Thunder Dragon's base, and it's not quite there. Gonna go ahead and scan this again, try and clear these mines again. Now Thunder Dragon trying to do the same play that Azrael had done with the Wraiths, but letting them stay in the fight a little too much. Pulling them over here though, these tanks taking some damage from these mines. Now the Wraith's gonna clean this up here until Goliath comes in, but keeping these dropships hidden. Keeping an eye on you, dropships.
My friend. Stay a while and listen.
The Dragon running away while there was the scan there, but now coming back. The Goliath's trying to run back to the cover of the turrets. Getting off a scan, getting off a couple of shots there, getting caught in between two packs of Goliaths. Unfortunate for the Wraiths. Be forced to return home, maybe grab some repairs. Now Thunder Dragon with the big unsiege, maybe looking to make a move here. And unfortunately this base here has not been doing much for Thunder Dragon. They got it back, but they didn't move any workers. Natural is almost out, the main is out, and the SCVs are just idle there. Those SCVs could be transferred, and now we've got dropships for Thunder Dragon as well, and this path is clear into the main, so there's no vision there right now. There is an army on the move just leaving what could drop with the dropships. The dropships just sort of passing by each other, and there's dropships of Azrael going to beeline it here and try and drop right on top of the tanks. I think Azrael will be able to clean this up pretty easily. This tank not able to shoot anything, so maybe not clean it up quite as easily as I thought. All right. Had to unsiege it to be able to shoot. But yeah, now it's just down to like 2 tanks. Tank on tank. Red tank wins. So Azrael did handle that pretty cleanly, pretty easily. Forcing the dropships back. I don't know if I really like the drop in the main, because it's not really going to get you much. But I mean, Azrael did kind of luck out there though with that, with his their dropship squad having to be just passing over this way at the same time. They were in very quick position to respond. And it looks like we've got some factories that aren't rallied, unfortunately, for Thunder Dragon. So some Goliaths just sitting back at home, not going to be part of the fight. You know, the dropships move forward. They don't have anything in them. They're just trying to distract the Goliaths. Defense matrix going down for Azrael. Thunder Dragon perhaps feeling like they just need to gain some territory in order to be able to stay in this match. He's not able to do it. There's a large tank force here, and Azrael is just way up in supply right now. Clears that easily. The Wraiths try and come in, but these Goliaths are just going to tear them apart. Even a Valkyrie now in the mix. And with that, Thunder Dragon is going to call the GG. And I believe that makes a clean sweep for the Beach Buddies of StarCraft, going 4-0 against Attitude Plus. Again, there was one walkover this week for these two teams. I don't know which team it went through, so it could be 4-1 or it could be 5-0. I'm not quite sure of that result, but that will be it for today's stream. I want to thank everybody for tuning in and hanging out. And again, didn't quite get announced in the usual way, But I did post it in the streaming channel, so hopefully the players for this team were able to see that if they wanted to watch their games live, and hopefully they'll be able to catch this VOD or the highlight once it gets highlighted. So I'm gonna go ahead and post in the chat if you want to join the Discord for the Coach-Pupil League, and do so. Go ahead and get that invite link real quick. There you go. So we are in Season 7 actively currently, so if you do sign up, you won't be placed on a team right away, but you will be able to join the waiting list. And so if any team ends up needing some more players, for any reason, you know, real life happens, players may not have been able to meet the commitment that they thought they could, etc., or something unexpected comes up. You know, you have a chance to be placed on a team, be able to practice with that team, you know, get into coaching sessions with coaches, with players that are like S rank and such, which can really, really help. Let's see though, who can we raid? Let's see who is playing StarCraft right now. So of course there is Artosis who is streaming, but has 1.8k viewers, so we'll try and find somebody who maybe doesn't have as many viewers. Let's see. Looks like we've got a stream here. 7 viewers currently. Hi, B Macro Protoss. I think we can go ahead and give them a raid. Again, I want to thank everybody for tuning in. And until next time, take care.